नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, title Divinity and Divine Service, verse number 24. Parthivat Darunah Dhumah Tasmat Agnihi Trayi Mayah Tamasah Tu Rajah Tasmat Sattvam Yat Brahma Darshanam Parthivad Daruno Dhumas Tasmat Agnistrayi Mayah Tamasastu Rajas Tasmat Sattvam Yad Brahma Darshanam Parthivad Daruno Dhumas Tasmat Agnistrayi Mayah Tamasastu Rajas Tasmat Sattvam Yad Brahma Darshanam Parthivad Daruno Dhumas Tasmat Agnistrayi Mayah Tamasastu Rajas Tasmat Sattvam Yad Brahma Darshanam Parthivad Daruno Dhumas Tasmat Agnistrayi Mayah Tamasastu Rajas Tasmat Sattvam Yad Brahma Darshanam Parthivad from earth, Darunah firewood, Dhumah smoke, Tasmat from that, Agnihi fire, Trayi Vedic sacrifices, Mayah made of, Tamasah in the mode of ignorance, Tu but, Rajah the mode of passion, Tasmat from that, Sattvam the mode of goodness, Yad which, Brahma the absolute truth, Darshanam realization. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: Firewood is a transformation of earth, but smoke is better than the raw wood, and fire is still better, for by fire we can derive the benefits of superior knowledge through Vedic sacrifices. Similarly, passion, rajas, is better than ignorance, tamas, but goodness, sattva, is best, because by goodness one can come to realize the absolute truth. Purport: as explained above, one can get release from the conditioned life of material existence by devotional service to the personality of Godhead. It is further comprehended herein that one has to rise to the platform of the mode of goodness, sattva, so that one can be eligible for the devotional service of the Lord. But if there are impediments on the progressive path, anyone, even from the platform of tamas, can gradually rise to the sattva platform by the expert direction of the spiritual master. Sincere candidates must therefore approach an expert spiritual master for such a progressive march, and the bona fide expert spiritual master is competent to direct a disciple from any stage of life, tamas, rajas or sattva. It is a mistake therefore to consider that worship of any quality or any form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is equally beneficial. Except Vishnu, all separated forms are manifested under the conditions of material energy, and therefore the forms of material energy cannot help anyone to rise to the platform of sattva, which alone can liberate a person from material bondage. The civilized stage of life, or the life of the lower animals, is controlled by the mode of tamas. The civilized life of man with a passion for various types of material benefits is the stage of Rajas. The Rajas stage of life gives a slight clue to the realization of the absolute truth in the forms of fine sentiments in philosophy, art and culture with moral and ethical principles. But the mode of Sattva is still higher stage of material quality, which actually helps one in realizing the absolute truth. In other words, there is a qualitative difference between the different kinds of worshipping methods as well as the respective results derived from the predominating deities, namely Brahma, Vishnu and Hara. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Jnanatimirandasya. Hare Krishna. Again the verse Parthiva dharuno dhumas tasmad agnistrayimayah tamasastu rajas tasmad sattvam yad brahma darshanam. Translation: firewood is a transformation of earth, but smoke is better than the raw wood. And fire is still better, for by fire we can derive the benefits of superior knowledge through Vedic sacrifices. Similarly, passion, rajas, is better than ignorance, tamas. But goodness, sattva, is best, because by goodness one can come to realize the absolute truth. Hare Krishna. So here in this verse, a comparison is given, analogy. Like when we light the fire, the raw wood there. So when you light the fire, without the fire, the raw wood is it is not useful. So when the fire is there, then we can use for Vedic sacrifices and many other purposes. So the comparison is when you light the raw wood, initially the smoke comes. So the smoke is better than the raw wood. At least some improvement is there. With the raw wood is just useless. So then when you start lighting the fire, slowly that smoke comes. So the smoke is better than the raw wood. And when the fire comes, then we can utilize much more. So in the fire we can do Vedic sacrifices, we can cook so many things. So the fire is best, they said. So in same way, with that analogy, we can compare here Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna and Tamo Guna, three material modes. So in that, Sattva Guna is best, because in the translation it is said, Sattva Guna is best because by goodness one can come to realize the absolute truth. So from there, that is a platform where we can realize the absolute truth. But in the other modes like Tamoguna and Rajoguna, so that urge is there, that material influence is there. So in that guna, it's difficult. It may be it's not possible to understand the absolute truth. So Sattva Guna is the platform where we can understand about the absolute truth. So there are three gunas. So as we know, there are 84 lakhs of species are there. This is all different combination of these three gunas. Like mathematically we can say 3 gunas are there, 3 into 3, 9, 9 into 9, 81, like that it goes. And it reaches 84 lakhs. So different combination of gunas, so different living entity, they have different combination of gunas. So we cannot say that one is fully in Sattva Guna, one is fully in Tamo Guna, we cannot say like that. So it is a different proportion. Like for example, if you say someone is in Sattva Guna is prominent in him. Like for example, 80% Sattva Guna, 15% Rajoguna and 5% Tamoguna. So then we can say that he is in Sattva-guna because Sattva-guna is prominent. So there are different combinations. So with these combinations, different people are in different guna. So that's why we can see different varieties of happiness and distress. So someone gets happiness in something, and for some that may not give that happiness. He will look for happiness in something else because that guna's influence is there. So when a person is in Sattva guna, he gets happiness by understanding things, by knowledge. So when he gets knowledge, then he gets happiness. But a person who is in Tamoguna, he may not get happiness by getting knowledge and all. He gets bored. He is getting happiness in something else, even though it is not happiness. Comparatively, we can say like his guna is like that. He is influenced by that particular mode, so he gets happiness in that. So everyone is controlled by different gunas. That's why we are known as conditioned souls. That guna is also means rope. The rope is binding us. The three ropes are there. The three ropes you make in different combinations, and with that rope we are bound. So we are conditioned souls. So that influence is there. That guna is there. We are bound. So when we are bound, when we are conditioned, there is a limitation. So even though we think that it is wrong, we are not supposed to do this, but still, because we are conditioned, we are impelled to do that because that influence is there more. So at the present moment we are conditioned because we forgot our relationship with the Supreme Lord, with our Father. We are eternal Son of the Supreme Lord. So we forgot our relationship with the Father, Supreme Father. So that's why we are in this conditioned state. So it's like a father, he may be a rich person, but a son, he got disconnected with the father and he is loitering on the street. He's just roaming around without money and just begging somewhere. But it is not required. It is not necessary. A father is a rich person. You go and join with a father. You re-establish your relationship. Then you can be happy. As because we cut off our relationship with the father, then that's why we are suffering. That's why we are loitering on the street. So now we are conditioned because we forgot our relationship with Krishna. So as Krishna says, Mamaiva amsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha. Mamaiva amsha. Krishna is saying that everyone is my part and parcel. Jiva bhuta, all living entities. And sanatanaha. Eternally we are part and parcel of Krishna. Eternally we are servant of Krishna. Eternally we have relationship with Krishna. So that relationship is now covered with these modes of material nature. So this is Sattva guna, Rajo guna and Tamo guna. So these gunas is binding us, it is restricting us to re-establish that relationship. So our goal, our purpose of this human life should be to come out of these material modes and to re-establish that relationship with Krishna. So that is the purpose of this human life. So now in this conditioned state we are thinking that we are this body, I am Indian, I am male, I am working in this company, this is my designation, I am son of such and such. Everything is material identity. So there is always a bodily concept of life. Always we are identifying ourselves with this material body. So that is because we are thinking that I am this body. A dog is thinking that I am dog. A cat is thinking that I am cat. And we are thinking that I am human. I am son of such and such, like this. So we are thinking that this body made of this earth, water, fire, air, ether, bhumi, rapa, andlo, vayu, kamano. So these 8 material elements, this material body is made of these material elements. So we are thinking that this is me. We are identifying everything with this. So that's why we are suffering. That is the cause of this conditioned life, materialistic life. So in Bhagavatam there is one nice analogy that if you see the river, the water is flowing in the river. So when you see the river, water is flowing in the river. When you see the river at particular time, we think that this is the water of that river. But the river, the water is continuously flowing, constantly flowing, but every second that water is moving. The water is changing. But we are thinking that this is the water of the river. But it is not. Constantly it is moving, it's flowing. So in same way, now in this material body we are there, it is just a fraction of second. If we compare like Brahma's lifetime with our lifetime, it is just a very fraction of a moment. And when we see even higher, like this is just a inhaling and exhaling time of Mahavishnu. And if we see all these things, this is just we are just blinking our eyes. It is just a fraction of second in this life. And again we will take another body, another birth, another body. It just depends on our desire and karma. We just take next body like that, and just goes on like that. And we are thinking that this is me, I am this body. Everything connected with this body is mine. So in that way we are identifying ourselves with this body. So that is the cause of our misery, our struggle, our suffer, everything. And there is another analogy is given. A wood is burning, the fire, and that fire is coming from the wood, and immediately it is vanquishing. And that every spark it is coming out, and immediately it is vanquishing, like that. But we are thinking that this is the fire from that wood, but every moment it is changing. So even scientifically it is proved that our body is changing. Every cells are replaced. And they said brain cells will take a longer time to completely get replaced. 7 years it takes. So even in that concept, every 7 years our body is changed. Even though they say it is growing, but actually it is changing. Growing means some change is happening, so it is changing. The body is changing. Even in this life, our body is changing. So in Bhagavad Gita it is said, Dehinosmi nita dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara. So a soul is transferring himself in a young body and then old body, and then it is changing. So in that way, we are not this body. That is a concept. We have to understand this. We are soul. So because we didn't understand this, that's why we are conditioned. We are bound by these modes, material modes. But this bodily concept of life has nothing to do. We are eternal spirit. We are soul. We are servant of Krishna. We are transcendental. We have nothing to do with these material modes. But we have a desire to associate with this material mode. We have a desire to enjoy these material modes. We want to lord it over these material modes. We want to enjoy independently of Krishna. So that because of our desire, we are put in this condition. So now we have to purify our desire. When we purify our desire, when we surrender to Krishna, when we serve Krishna, when we engage in the devotional service of Lord, so then we can come out of this material modes. So as we know, we are spiritual being. We were in spiritual world, and we know spiritual world is unlimited. There is no boundary for spiritual world. So now, as a spiritual being, we are supposed to be in spiritual world. We are supposed to be in the association of Lord. We are meant to serve Lord, but now we are covered by these modes of material nature. So that is because we can say, as we know, spiritual world is unlimited. But then, where is the region of this material world? Now, if it is unlimited, there everywhere it should be spiritual world. Then where this region, where it is coming from? This material world. So there is a covering. So Mahatattva is there. That Mahatattva is like a covering. So from that covering, it is like a dark. Like there is a sunlight is there, and with a plate you cover the sunlight, and that place only it will be dark. Spiritual world is unlimited. There is no boundary, but in between there is a covering. That covered part is considered as material world. That Mahatattva is covering. So in that way, spiritual world is unlimited, transcendental. We are also transcendental. As because we are covered by this material modes, we are feeling the darkness. We are feeling that conditioned life, materialistic life. Otherwise, we are transcendental. We don't have anything to do with this material modes. So once we realize that we are covered, we have to try to remove that covering. Then we can experience the transcendental nature. Then we can experience that blissful nature of serving Lord, associating with Lord, being in the spiritual world, being in Vaikuntha. There is no anxiety there. Here at every moment we are in anxiety. Every moment we are in fear. Padam padam yad vipatam. Every step there is a danger. So here we are controlled by this material modes. So like for example, in that book we might have seen that laws of nature. So there the picture is given like three modes: sattva guna, rajoguna and tamoguna. They are controlling us like a puppets. Like olden days, the drama they do with the puppet. So in that way we are controlled like a puppets in the hands of the sattva guna, rajoguna and tamoguna. Like that, like when Prabhupada went to West US, so he said that make me dance as you like. So he is considering that Krishna is controlling, because he is not under the modes of material nature. He is eternally liberated soul. So he is under the control of Krishna. But who are covered by these modes of material nature, who are conditioned, they are puppets of Maya. So that Maya we should remove. That is the purpose of this human life. So every living entity, as we discussed, different combination, different body they get, depends on their desire, karma. Now they have to act in that mode. A person who is rajasic, he have to be rajasic. There is no, that is a condition, So conditioned in the sense you have to do this. You have to do this no matter what. Like for example, a dog got a dog body and it has to bark. It cannot say that no, I cannot. That is destined for him. He got this dog body, he has to behave like a dog. Like Prabhupada is explaining that a hog is there. Even you take the hog and put it in heavenly planets, still it will look for where is my stool. So that is the nature of the hog. It cannot change. So in that way, we are experiencing different kinds of happiness, different kinds of distress. Everyone is taking happiness in different things. So So here the three things are there: sattva guna, rajo guna and tamo guna. So this in simple terms we can say happy, very active and helpless. Prabhupada explains in the 14th chapter these three modes of material nature. So there in the purport Prabhupada explains this is the three terms, like happy, sattva guna, a person who is in sattva guna he is happy, and a person who is in rajo guna he is very active for nothing, and a person who is in tamo guna he is helpless, he is like gone case. So here sattva guna is considered. Sattva guna one becomes wiser than the other gunas, not much affected by material miseries. He has a sense of advancement in material knowledge, and more or less free from sinful reactions. These are the qualities of a person who is in sattva guna. So their life is, we can say they are happily living and not much indulging in sinful activities, and they are peaceful, calm. They have good knowledge about material science, of course, and with that platform we have to try to understand about spiritual life, about absolute truth. So in that platform only we can understand. So this is a platform to understand about spiritual life, but it is not that once we reach sattva guna then we are liberated. It is not like that. So in sattva guna we are more inclined to knowledge, but people who are in sattva guna they are utilizing this to advance materially. They have capacity to understand things. That capacity they are not utilizing properly. They are getting more and more material knowledge and trying to advance more and more materially. So now we can see in all big position everywhere you can see Brahmanas. So they are meant to get knowledge, they can understand things, but they are not utilizing it properly. So in the Vedic literature it is said that the mode of goodness means greater knowledge and greater happiness. So comparatively, if you compare the other two modes, the person who is in goodness, he is more happy, more knowledge he has. So the difficulty is that a person who is in sattva guna, he is satisfied with what he got. So now I have good money, good family, good children, obedient, and I have knowledge, I have earned so much, everything is settled, so I am happy. And he does some pious activity, goes to temple, do puja, and that's it. They are settled in that. So that is a danger. So when someone is sattva guna and he just do like this, and he is not much inclined to sinful activities, and he just lead a pious activity, and then leave this body, and again he will get a body, and again he will do the same thing. Because he didn't do much sinful activity, he will get a good birth somewhere, and this pious activity will bind him more and more. And this just goes on like this. To put an end to this, we have to engage in the devotional service of the Lord. So in that way only we can come out of, even from the mode of goodness. Even the mode of goodness is dangerous. So it will make us comfortable that okay, this is okay, I am happy. So the example is the Prabhupada gives in that purport that philosophers, scientists, so they are more content, they are happy. So even though when we are in the mode of goodness we cannot get liberation, we cannot go out of this material world, within the material world we can be happy. So due to illusion we think that our present condition is good. This is a problem in the mode of goodness. So passion, of course, even in the mode of goodness we are not liberating, then what to speak of passion? When someone is rajoguna, then so in the 14th chapter one verse is there, urdhvam gacchanti sattvastha. A person who is in goodness, he elevates himself. not beyond this material world, within the material world he elevates. And madhye tistanti rajasa. A rajasic person, he just be in this middle planetary systems, and he just and adho gachanti tamasa. A person who is in tamoguna, he degrades himself. He goes lower and lower planets, or degrades himself into animal life. So these are the three gunas. The person who is in rajoguna, and he's very active. He wants to do something, and he wants to have a good family, good children, and to maintain that you have to work hard. You have to be active, active like a monkey, Prabhupada says. Monkeys jumps here and there, but there is no purpose. So like that. So it's like a people who are under the modes, but still they cannot get liberation, even though a person is in Sattva-guna. The example is given that a dog is tied with the iron chain, and another dog is tied with the silver chain, and another dog is tied with the golden chain. So even though it is tied with the golden chain, it doesn't mean that it is not, it is liberated, it is free, it is bound. So in that way, a person who is in mode of goodness, even though he is tied with a golden chain, but he cannot go out of this material world. But the purpose of human life is to go out of this material world. So even though a dog is tied with a golden chain, and a person is there to take care, good nice food is there, and a person who is there to take care, make it bath and all these things, but still it is a dog. So our purpose is to engage in devotional service and to come out of this material world. That's why. So here in the translation it is mentioned, the Sattva Guna is best because by goodness one can come to realize the absolute truth. So a person who is in Tamoguna and Rajoguna, he should try to come to the platform of Sattva Guna at least. So because in Sattva Guna only we can understand about the absolute truth. So comparatively it is good. The analogy given here is fire is still better than that. So like that, when someone comes to Sattva Guna, that is like an exit point from where you can exit. So here there are misconceptions like the I and mine. When someone is bound by these modes, he thinks that I and mine. So this I and mine, these two things are there, two misconceptions. Mine is generally a lower stage. The animals they think that always this is mine, this is my food, my thing, where is my food, where is my food? Always they look for this. This is a lower stage of life. It's animalistic. So even human beings who are lower like animals, they always think that this is mine, this is my family, my house, this is my body, my money, like that. So but the higher stage is I. That I is even more dangerous. They think that I am the master. That ego comes, false ego. I am the master, I am Lord. Then finally it comes that I am God. Then Prabhupada says this is the last snare of Maya. So this is all because of the modes of material nature. So they are bound. So, but the real significance of I can be realized only when one is situated in the consciousness of I am the eternal servant of Krishna. So that is the real I. That ego should be there. Ego is that I am servant of Krishna. That false ego should not be there. So that false ego, because we wanted to enjoy independently of Krishna, so we are bound by these material modes. That's why this false ego is coming. So ultimately, become untinged by these modes of material nature. That is and in that way only we can engage in the devotional service of the Lord. So at the end of 14th chapter, Krishna says, Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samati tetyan brahma bhoyaya kalpate. Mam chayo vyabhicharena, avyabhicharena, in a sense, the purport, Prabhupada explains that we have to take shelter of Vishnu. We have to take shelter of Krishna. So because when we take shelter of demigods other than Vishnu, they cannot liberate us from this material existence, because they themselves are bound by the modes. They are separated parts and parcels. So we have to take shelter of Vishnu Tattva, so then we can come out of this material nature. So we have to take shelter of Vishnu. To take shelter of Vishnu, to engage in the devotional service of the Lord, at least we have to come to the stage of Sattva Guna. So Mam Chayo Avyabhicharena. Avyabhicharena in the sense only to Krishna. There is no Vyabhichar. So one who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Brahman in the sense free from the modes of material nature. So when we free ourselves from the modes of material nature, then we can fully engage in the devotional service of the Lord with full determination, with unfailing in all circumstances. Sagunan samati tetan brahma bhoyaya kalpati. Then we can come out of this material nature. So having obtained this human form of life, that should be the goal of life, to engage in the devotional service of the Lord and to come out of this modes. Brahma bhoyaya kalpate. So in Bhagavatam it is mentioned that labdva sudurlabam idam bahu sambhavante manusham artadam anityam api hadiraha turnam yatet napatet anumritya yavad niksheshayasa vishaya kalu sarvatasyad. So labdva sudurlabam. Labdva means we have obtained sudurlabam idam, which is we got it, which is very rarely obtained. Labdva sudurlabam idam bahu sambhavante. Sambhava means birth. Ante, after many births, we got this human form of life, which is very rarely achieved. Labdva sudurlabam idam bahu sambhavante manusham artadam anityam apihadira. Manusham artadam in the sense which awards great value. So even Prahlad Maharaj says, even though it is temporary life, but it is meaningful life. So in this human form of life, we can engage in devotional service of the Lord. We can understand why we are bound, why we are covered by these modes of material nature. So with this knowledge, we can come out of this material nature. From the exit point is there. So but in other lives, we cannot do that. In animal life, there is no knowledge is given, that because it is destined for that, to suffer. But human life is not meant for suffering. It is meant for understanding the absolute truth. Human life is meant for tapasya. You have to engage in tapasya and understand who are we, why we are suffering in this material world, and the purpose should be to go out of this material world. And it is said, Turnam yateta. Turnam means immediately. So immediately we have to, it is like something is caught with fire. Fire in the sense immediately we have to come out. So as soon as we come to know that we are bound, and immediately we should try to release ourselves from this bondage, from this bound. So that Turnam, I said, Turnam immediately. Turnam yateta napatet anumritya yavad. And It is said, Nishresayaya Vishaya Kalu Sarvatasyad. So that is the purpose of human life. So before meeting our next death, we have met many times, many millions of lifetimes we have gone through with this bound condition. So now we have to release ourselves by engaging devotional service of the Lord. So the analogy is given that a person is bound, so he cannot untie himself because he himself is bound. So we have to take shelter of a person who is not bound. That is Guru. So when we have to engage as a menial servant of Guru. When we serve Guru, when Guru is pleased, then Guru gives instruction. So when we get the instruction, we follow the instruction, so then we can untie ourselves. So that's what here Prabhupada says, that we can gradually raise to the platform of Sattva by the expert direction of the spiritual master. Sincere candidates must therefore approach an expert spiritual master for such a progressive march. And the bona fide expert spiritual master is competent to direct a disciple from any stage of life, tamas, rajas or sattva. So that is what Prabhupada went to West. They don't have any capacity to understand Bhagavatam. It is all such a high philosophy, and which takes us out of this material world to engage us in the devotional service of the Lord. So they are not at that level. An expert spiritual master, he converts a disciple, even though he is from Rajoguna, Tamoguna, then he can take him out from that guna and he can put him in the transcendental position by engaging him in devotional service. So then we have to take shelter of Guru. So it is said, as we discussed, as soon as we understand, Prahlad Maharaj says that Kaumaram Acharit Prajno Dharman Bhagavataniha. So we have to practice devotional service from a very young life, Kaumaram. So but now we are already late, but as soon as we hear, we said Turnam Yateta. Immediately, as soon as at least we hear, at least this point of time we should start, and we should perfect our life by engaging in devotional service. So I said life is short, don't waste time. So a devotee always considers that we are not wasting time. What is it? Avyakta kalatvam. So we have to use our time to engage in the devotional service of the Lord. Many say that no, now it is not time, now we are young, we can enjoy life. When old age comes, we will take devotional service. Old age comes, we will practice spiritual life. Not like that. So all these shastras, they say that now how to lead a life, how to lead. So when we are at old, when you understand that what to do and how we should lead our life, then what is the point? So from young age, we have to start this. So even many devotees also say that no, not now. If there is a time, then we can be serious. Now we can be relaxed. There is no time. Life is short. Don't waste time. And there is a analogy given in Bhagavatam in the section talk between Narada Muni and King Prachina Barhi. So there one verse translated is said, please search out the deer who is engaged in eating grass in a very nice flower garden along with his wife. That deer is very much attached to his business and is enjoying the sweet singing of the bumblebees in his garden. Just try to understand his position. So this is very nice verse. It is clearly depicting a person who is in ignorance. So the example is given that a goat about to get slaughtered, but the other goats are happily it is eating grass. The death is very near, but people are not able to see that. So they are in completely ignorance. So here it is said, he is unaware that before him there is a tiger which is accustomed to live at the cost of another flesh, and behind the deer there is a hunter who is threatening to pierce him with sharp arrows. So death is imminent. That's why it is said Turnam Yateta, immediately, because before the next death comes, we have to perfect our life by engaging in devotional service of the Lord. So also it is said in Bhagavad Gita, Yesham Tantakatam Papam Jananam Punyakarmanam Te Tantu Mokha Nirmukta Bhajate Mam Dridaprata. So one can engage in devotional service with determination once he once he is done with all his sinful activities. Once he becomes pure, then he can engage in devotional service with determination. So to end all our sinful activities, there is no separate endeavor is required. So only through devotional service we can end our sinful activities, and after ending our devotional service, after ending our sinful activities, then again we have to practice devotional service. And by practicing devotional service, what result we are getting? Again it is devotional service. Now the Sambandha, Abhidaya and Prayojana all are same. So there is no separate endeavor is required. If a person is in Tamoguna, to elevate himself to Sattva Guna, devotional service only. So when we engage in devotional service by praying to Guru and Krishna, then by their mercy purification happens. By purification we can come to the stage of Sattva Guna, and again we can engage in devotional service, and ultimately eternally we can engage in devotional service when we go back to spiritual world. So here even in the last previous verse translation, it is said, all human beings can derive ultimate benefit from Vishnu, the form of the quality of goodness. So that ultimate benefit is, here in the purport, initially Prabhupada says one can get release from the conditioned life of material existence by devotional service to the personality of Godhead. So this is the ultimate benefit we get. So reach to the Brahman stage, no more controlled by the modes of nature, and be free from the modes of nature and engage in the devotional service of the Lord. And this should be the perfection of life. They are all human beings, the rare human body we got. This is the goal we should have. Immediately we should engage in the devotional service of the Lord. Turnam. Hare Krishna. Any comments, questions? Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.